So the T triangle is from cognitive behavioral therapy. And cognitive behavioral therapy is a well-known, well-researched, well-used type of therapy. It is what you typically refer to as talk therapy. The T triangle has this concept that our thoughts are connected to our emotions and our emotions are connected to our actions. So let's say that you probably don't believe that. The idea is that what we think, right, influences what we feel, and what we feel then influence how we act, and how we act inadvertently confirms what we think. So I usually love to share this particular exercise or particular scenario when I'm working with clients or just kind of just talking through it. I call it the cafeteria story. I don't remember where I got it from. I'm pretty sure I didn't make it up. So I don't want to take credit for it. Let's start with a scenario. You walk into the cafeteria. It is your very first day of work, very first day of whatever it is that you're doing. As soon as you enter the room, you hear a burst of laughter. And I mean like loud. People are going at it. And all of a sudden you look in the direction where the sound's coming from, and you notice that all of the people that are laughing are looking at you. Hmm. So just picture it. You walk in, very first day, you enter the door. As soon as you enter, laughter erupts, and all the people are looking at you and they continue to laugh, right? Now you can play around with this, like, were they laughing before I got in? Yada, yada, yada. It doesn't really matter. What I want to focus on is what is happening to the person entering the room. So whenever I share this story, most often people say something to me. They say something like, Shari, I would think they're laughing at me. I'm like, yeah, you know what? That makes sense. You would think they're laughing at you because you entered a room and they're all looking at you and laughing. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to put those two together, right? So I said, okay, so say that's the thought you have. Say you do think they're laughing at me. How would you feel? How would you feel? Now, most people, when I say this and when they say yes, I walk in, I think they're laughing at me, and they would say something like, I probably feel embarrassed. I probably would feel self-conscious, start looking. Okay, and I say, okay, calm down, wait before you go any further. You start to feel self-conscious, you start to feel embarrassed, you start to feel judged, maybe even vulnerable, right? And that also makes sense, right? Because if I'm thinking that they're laughing at me, I'm going to feel those things. Now, the difference sometimes is in the action. How we respond can differ based on our temperament. It can differ based on how we were raised. It can differ based on our experiences, and just how we navigate situations. It can also differ based on if you showed up to work tired, triggered, and hungry. Okay? Mhm. Let's just be honest. Those are bad combinations. And most of us are doing this. So you say you are more of like a passive person, right? I don't really like that word. So maybe say more you're more of like a reserved person. You might hold your judgment outwardly for others. They might not know what you're going through, that kind of thing. But you're still embarrassed, you're still self-conscious, you still feel vulnerable. So you're gonna look around, right? You're probably gonna feel a little bit ashamed depending on what you brought to the room. Maybe you had an experience with something like this happen already. So this is now affecting you on multiple levels. All right. Say it's the same scenario, but rather than thinking they're laughing at me, you have the thought, something must be funny. And I just missed it. Or maybe it's still happening, right? Wow. Shari, come on now. Who gonna really think that? Well, believe it or not, when I do ask this question, about one or two people um, usually pick this one, right? It's not a very common one. So you can either drop in the comment, how would you probably respond? My advice would be to find moments where you can pause and just like they used to tell you when you were a kid, think before you speak. When we take the time to pause and reflect on what we're feeling, it can allow us sometimes to think about well, what are we thinking about this feeling, right? And consequently, what do I want to happen? And much of therapy, when you go to your therapist, much of the things that you're going to be working through, especially around emotional regulation and navigating trauma, will be getting to the root of some of those thought patterns that we have. Really hope this was helpful for you. For more tips like this, or for more conversations and videos about navigating emotions, please visit emotionregulationtools.com. Brand new site. You'll be able to download some free worksheets for yourself or for clients or for sharing with a friend. It is very hard to navigate this world. So having tools that allows us to have better conversations, better relationships, better self-thought, right, is so important.